Okay, so we are going. I don't want to look like a floating head. So I was really excited today because we got to wear a band T-shirt and I didn't have to dress up that tight. So yay!
I have a band T-shirt.
So I don't have a lot, but I had this one. So it's the last concert I got to go to before 2020 happened. So
I feel
What's your favorite Brooks and Dunn's music?
I really like My Maria. It's an old song. It's from like the early '90s that they sang. But so but honestly, I'm a bigger fan of Reba than I am Brooks and Dunn, which is why this shirt is both of them. So, let me get started.
I like candy.
So, we have been talking. Listen, we've been talking for the last 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, 2 days.
3 days.
Today is the third day. Tomorrow's going to be the test. So we've been talking for the last 2 days about positive and negative numbers. What is the one number that is its own opposite?
0.
Jordan? 0 is its own opposite. It's the only. What is also the only number that is not a positive number and not a negative number? It's kind of off in its own little world doing its own thing.
I know.
Gabriel? 0. 0 is kind of, it does its own thing. How do I know that a number is, thank you. How do I know that a number is the opposite? Charlia? It's, exactly. We learned how you could take a number line and you could fold it in half where the 0 hits, and the numbers that are touching each other, those are opposites. Also, because if you unfold it, just imagine, number line here. If you unfold it, there's a 0 in the middle, and then each number that's the opposite is the same distance from 0. So 1 and -1 would be the same distance, 2 and -2, and so on. So those are opposites. Today, we're just going to practice. Remember, I've told you all that all your tests come from this book. And so they, if the test comes from the book and the book's giving you practice problems, it's probably a good thing that you're going to have these kind of questions on it. Now, the only thing I do want to go over that we kind of didn't have time to yesterday, turn back to page 115. What's up?
Let me get one of the books up there.
Yeah, just borrow one of these for now. So on page 115, we talked about, I kind of told y'all to finish, just go ahead and finish it. And the reason is because we talked about the triad of problems at the bottom. We talked about the triad problems at the bottom and how those problems, you're going to see a lot of those on your test. So if it makes sense, then you're good to go. Landon, please open up to page 115. So the way that you should have solved this is for A, B, C, D, and E is to write either a positive number or a negative number for each one. And the way that you could know if it's positive or negative is, what's that key word? What is it asking you? So A says that you owe $25. So if you owe $25, my number is going to be 25, but is it going to be a positive 25 or is it going to be a negative 25?
Negative, because it's a bad thing.
It's going to be, oh, yeah, no one wants to owe anything. So, yeah, you owe, so it's okay. Hey. Ah, thank you. So A would be negative 25 because you owe 25. Now B, a team has a gain of 20 yards during a football game.
That's a positive.
So, what would it be, Casey?
Positive 20 because they gain.
Yeah, gain is the key word. And so if you gain points, that's a good thing, right, Cole? Yeah, you want to gain the yards in a game. And so that would be a positive 20. So you could either write that as positive 20, or you can write that as just 20 by itself.
But here, I
What's
have
up?
an example. So you know how you said like nobody wants to be in debt?
Yeah,
Well, I feel like negative, being in debt is a bad thing. So it's a negative.
yeah.
It is. But having money, like having $20, that's a good thing. So it's a positive.
There you go.
Oh, exactly.
So,
Minus money when you're in debt.
listen. C says 2 floors below ground level. If you are below ground level, what would that be, Charlia? It would be a negative thing. So it would be negative 2. D is 15 degrees above 0 degrees. So would it be positive or negative, Taylor? It would be positive. It would either and you could write that as either plus 15, or you could write that as just 15. Now finally, the stock price fell 4.26 points. Would that be positive or negative, Charlia? It would be negative. So how many of y'all know what stock prices are?
Me.
Y'all know?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So put your hands down. Not everyone raised their hands, which is fine. Do I have to know what stock prices are in order to answer this question?
No, because we're not adults yet. It says drop, so obviously we should know.
Well, actually, it could be positive because.
Depending on what the stock prices are.
Well, not the number's not positive.
Buy stock.
But it could be a good thing because it's lower, so you should buy. Good thing.
Listen.
If
So,
you haven't invested in it yet.
Cole. So you are right. So a stock. It depends what you're when it comes to stock. It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to buy stock, it might be a good thing or it might be bad. But for the people who like have the stock, if something falls, is it good or bad?
Bad.
It's bad. So I don't need to know, and I don't need to overthink it. That's why I'm a little nervous that some of y'all might try and overthink it tomorrow on your test. But don't overthink it. If something falls, it's bad. So it's going to be a negative 4.26. Another thing I want to ask you about that I think you'll see on your test tomorrow. If something is, Zane, up here.
Wait,
Right?
I have a question.
What's up?
What if his stock prices fell, but he had $5 of stock price?
You are overthinking it.
So that would be a good.
You are overthinking it.
But it's still be
Overthinking it.
Be a positive.
But you're not going to overthink it, because if you
Yeah, I
overthink
won't
it, you're going to
overthink
get
it, though.
then you're going to get it wrong on your test.
But what if it has 20 stock price?
Then you can get it wrong on your test and you'll fail.
Wait, what?
Maybe stock don't
So
work like that.
stop,
Yes, it does.
Zayden.
It dropped by
Yeah, but like
So-
if it drops, they don't take away just $4.
Let's not talking about adult stuff. Let's just talk about
Okay,
Okay,
so listen, guys. So when something falls, it's a negative thing. One thing I do want to talk about, what is sea level?
That's
the level of the sea.
The level of
The level of the sea, which is also represented by 0.
Yeah.
So did I tell you all that yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah, you went scuba diving and you were negative 50.
yeah, so I couldn't remember if I said that to you all or in my other class.
And then
But yeah, so you have sea level is 0. Above sea level would be positive. Below sea level would be negative. Listen, if I ascend 10 feet, would that be positive or negative?
It's negative.
If I ascend, it's positive. It's like an airplane ascends to the 20,000 feet. If it descends, like it's coming down, then that would be negative.
That's not good.
What?
It's not good if it's crashing.
No, it's not good if it's crashing. So, turn back to page 116. So, I want, Zayden, y'all gonna have to get it together. So, I want to kind of go over 14 through 16 with you, and then I'm going to let you all try and do 17 on your own. So, number 14. What number is the opposite of the opposite of 5? Think about it for a second. What number is the opposite of the opposite of 5?
The opposite of the opposite. Oh, that's 5.
It's not a trick question. So you have the opposite of 5, and then you have the opposite of that opposite. It's 5. So what is the opposite of the opposite of 5, Charlia? 5. I'm just saying, you're going to have a problem just like that, where you have to decide what is the opposite of something else. So really, if you read it super quick and you rush through it, it can be hard to be like, what in the world was that? But if you take it slow, the opposite, just like Zane said, the opposite of 5 is -5, and the opposite of that is +5. So the opposite of 5 is 5. The opposite of a number is, well, the number that you start with. So, what's up?
So the opposite of the opposite of the opposite would be -5?
Mhm. And you could just keep going, but we ain't going to do it.
Why not?
Because. Number 15. Listen. Positive and negative numbers can show an amount above or below 0. They can also be used to show an amount above or below a certain point. Students at Taft Middle School have a goal of collecting 1,000 pounds of recycling materials each month. The following table shows their results over a 6-month time period. Complete the table. The first month is done for you. So in January, they collected 985 pounds. So compared to 1,000, it says that they collected -15 pounds because their goal was 1,000 and they missed it by by 15. Now in February, they did 1,010. So compared to 1,000, how much did they lose or gain, Casey? So what would you write? You would write +10, or you would just write 10?
But -15, so they'd be -995.
No, it would just be -15 because they gained 985, but they were 15 short from their goal.
Right, and then you add 10.
So no, it's almost like it starts over. Each month they have a goal of 1,000, and so it's not like it doesn't build on each other. So in March, new goal, new month, they made it to 995. So compared to 1,000, how'd they do, Brianna? They have -5. In April, they made 1,050. Compared to 1,000, how did they do, Taylor? They did +50 or just plain 50. In May, they made it to 975. How'd they do, Cadence?
-25.
They did -25. Good. And in June, they made it to 980. How'd they do, Emma? They did -20. So they had a few more months that they didn't quite make it than the months that they did. What's up, Rio?
Could you take that thing off your screen?
No, it's okay. So I'm just recording so that they see it. This is just this is our whiteboard. I just haven't done it. But there's nothing there. If I exit out, it's just blank. So at least this time there was like a pretty picture they could have seen. So now they just have a white screen to stare at. So listen. So look at the number line below. The letters A, B, C, and D all represent integers. Part A. So on your test, you're gonna have one question that has several parts, but it's not gonna be all on one page. It's gonna be like one page will be part A, the next question will be part B, and so on. So this is a part A, B, C question. Look at the number line. The letters A, B, C, and D all represent integers. What's an integer? What's an integer, Jacob? Any whole number.
And they're opposites.
Okay. And they're opposites. Well, in negative, their opposites are also whole numbers. So any integer is a whole number.
With their opposite.
0 is an integer because 0 does have an opposite, but it's itself. Okay, so which letters represent negative integers? So look at the number line. You have to know which side is negative, which side is positive. Which ones are negative integers? Didn't Danica? C and A. How do you know? Exactly. Which letters are positive integers?
Zero.
Riley, you've been quiet. Cole, you've been quiet.
What question are we on?
Really? Oh my goodness. Y'all, even if y'all don't have your hand up, you should know that I'm going to call on you. Trey, you've been quiet.
I got this. B and D.
Good job. So,
smart.
which letters represent positive integers, which is B and D? How do we know? Well, because they're to the right of the number line. Now, if B and C are the same distance from 0, how could you describe them? Zane. Uh-huh. They're opposites. It's easy enough. They're opposites. So I thought I was going to get you because you're playing with your pencil. But it's okay. So, do I still have? Yeah, I still have pencils over there. This class, I'm just gonna admit and even Danica tells me every afternoon. This class is really bad about taking pencils and not putting a pencil back.
I'm not.
So we got to fix that because my other classes are always telling me I don't even have any pencils. And Danica came to me and she was like, I had this whole bag full of pencils and now there's like 5. There's 7. So like y'all gotta, if you take a pencil, you gotta put a pencil back. So page 17, 117. I'm gonna give you all maybe 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes because I know half of you already started on it. We'll give you some time. Answer parts A, B, C, and D, and then we'll go over it. Maybe we won't take the whole 3 minutes. It will just do it as long as you all need. We'll go over it in a minute. I just wanted to see if y'all do it.
It's Miss Juke.
It needs to include a number and its opposite. And the result in an answer that results in 0. So like I set the oven for 300 degrees and then I turned it off to the opposite of 300. And so or something like that. That's a terrible problem. But in part A, guys, this one's a little creative. You make up your own problems. As long as you have a number and it's opposite and it equals 0, I'll be happy.
So 0 and 0?
What can you say about the sum of a number and its opposite? So if I add the sum, so if I add up
And then I
a negative 1, what's my number? If I add up 5 and negative 5, what's my number? If I add up 1,000 and negative 1,000, what's my number? So what can you tell me about the sum of a number and its opposite?
I have $0.
So you're right, the sentence. So when any number and any opposite, if you add up a number and its opposite, what can you do? That's it. The answer is always going to be 0. But you need to do.
Alright,
Number 8.
So the problem is about a number line.
There's literally nothing about the number line.
Grab these pages, but I'm too
You didn't write your problem.
This is my problem.
But you need to write a word problem. But that doesn't tell me anything. You need to come up with a problem. Be creative. Tell me a story. Y'all like talking. This should not be a hard thing to do.
I don't like talking. You guys do it.
Yeah. Say what's the sound of the number and it's all this. There's
That's not a question. In a problem, you need a question. You need a problem to answer. You don't have a problem.
what problem?
I don't know. You didn't do it. You just told me a sentence.
Yeah, that's it.
You need to come up with a question to answer that you need someone else to answer.
Okay. So, alright.
The sum of the numbers. Multiple the sum. So if you add up the number and the opposite, like 1 and negative. Go 1 plus negative. Nope. Well, if you have 1 and you add negative, here. If I have 5 and I add negative 5, so if I add 1,000 and I add negative 1,000, so the sum of the number and its opposite is always negative. Hey, Kai.
Hey, yes.
Let's talk about this, and then you can always finish it if you want. So it said, this one was a little bit harder because you had to come up with the problem. It didn't just give you something to answer. So write a problem about a real life situation involving temperature or money. The situation should include a number and its opposite that results in the answer of 0. So who wants to tell me what they did? Cole, what was your problem?
Okay, so my problem was Cole owes $25
Jacob.
to the bank.
Uh-huh.
And if he pays it back, how much will he have left? And he has $0 to pay back. And then, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Caitlin, what was your problem? Listen. I can't hear. I am looking straight at you and willing to say anything. I can't hear. There you go. Zane, what was your problem?
I said Zane owes $5 to the bank. How much will I have after I pay $5?
Hey,
There
you
you
talking
go.
to me.
I'm pretty sure y'all might have telecommunicated. This is what we're gonna do. But I don't know what happened.
More like the upside.
Are you Portland? I literally said the words Portland. What was yours?
But I did have $20. Well, I raised my hand though.
That's fine.
Can I go?
No, I want to hear Portland.
I want to do it.
I had $5
Yeah.
How much money do I have left?
There you go. Now, Jacob, would you like to?
I didn't read the sentences because mine is
Yes, it is.
okay. I'm just Danica is $80. She is $40 debt. How much does she need to pay?
Good.
$40.
Thank you, everyone that hands are up. we'll do Thomas and then we'll do Paige.
It is 60 degrees outside, and I need to know the opposite.
There you go. Okay.
I had $100 and then I spent $100. So now how much do I have?
There you go, and you added a question. Okay, so you could have many answers. This one that it gives me, at 6 a.m. the temperature was negative 5 degrees. By 11 a.m. the temperature went up by 5. What was the temperature at 11 a.m., which would be 0 degrees? No, I'm just reading what's in the book. So, part B, graph the numbers you used in the problem on the number line. So, graphs will vary because, well, you have to go with your problems. Part C, explain what 0 means in the situation. Again, it's different. In this case, a 5-degree increase in the temperature from negative 5 to positive 5 is 0. Now, this is the question that I wanted to talk about because I had a lot of questions. What can you say about the sum of a number and its opposite?
3.
So, listen. We know the opposite, I'm at 0 on my number line. And the opposite is the same distance each way, right? So, I'm going to go forward 2 because it's 2 away. But now I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to go to negative 2, which would be 2 that way, right?
Or 4 that
So, if
way.
I go 2 back, where am I back at?
0.
Real. But I'm at 0. So if I go positive 3 plus the negative 3 distance,
0.
I'm back at 0.
So you have to go back 6.
So if I go
That's 6.
negative 4 and I add 4 to it, I'm back where?
4.
I'm back at 0. So what can I say about adding the sum of a number and its opposite? What is it always going to be?
0. So you walk 3 miles to your best friend's house, then you gotta walk 3 miles back. You would have 6
There you
miles.
go. Yeah, exactly. If you walk 3 miles forward and then you walk 3 miles back, you're back where you started.
Yeah, like whenever I was at home.
What's up?
So, let's say you are at 3, okay? You were messing. Okay, if you multiply that by 2, you will get 6. And if you walk to the left 6, you go to negative 3. If you multiply 0 by 2, you go to its opposite.
Hey, class. So, listen. So, Jacob, what were you saying?
So, let's say you're at 3. Okay?
Uh-huh.
You multiply it by 2,
You get to 6.
and then you go to the left. You go to the left 6 times. You go to negative 3. If you take any number,
Listen to what he's saying.
if you take any number and multiply it by 2, you will get its opposite.
So if I take 5 and multiply it by 2, though, I get 10.
He's saying how to slide over.
Who? Gabriel, what?
Oh, no. He's trying to say how to slide any negative number.
So I think that is true. If you take a negative number and multiply it by 2, you'll still get the negative number.
You'll get 0.
So I think what you're saying is if you take a number like 3 and you multiply it by 2 and then take that away, then you'll get to the opposite of negative 3. Because 3 minus 6 would be negative 3. It would go to its opposite. So, but listen, tomorrow is your test. There is one question, and it's the lovely one about the opposite of, yeah. There's the last question on your test is kind of like extra credit. And so you
Can do it or you cannot.
you can do. I would prefer everyone at least try it just so I can see if you know it or not. But it's not going to count against you if you get it wrong.
So we get more points if we get it right.
Possibly.
So we could get like 102.
No.
If you don't get 100, you'll get extra credit.
Stop.
Oh yeah.
But what if you do get 100?
I don't know.
Well, then, oh well.
So Listen. So let's try. We started our game I think on Tuesday, but we never really, not really a game, but the whole like Cadence came up and Rio stood at the opposite and so on. And guys, we cannot do this if y'all call out. I can't even complete a sentence without y'all interrupting me. So we're gonna do that again. I honestly do not remember who was up here and who wasn't up here. Okay, so Cadence, let's start with you. Stand at 3.5.
Where's the zero?
The zero's in front of Rio.
Yeah. Zero is Rio.
Okay. Okay. So Cole, come up here. Stand at the opposite. Yes, I'll let you stay since you didn't get to stay last time. So Cadence is at 3.5. So good. Remember, negative 3.5 would be between 3 and 4. It wouldn't be between 3 and negative 2. Good. Cole, stay where you are. Cadence, you can have a seat. Cole, go to negative 2. Zayden, go to the opposite. Good. Cole, you can have a seat. Zayden, go to negative 4.5. Gabriel, go to the opposite.
Wow. After away my trash.
Remember, by the way, tonight's homework is practice page 125 and 126. I'm not going to be mad if y'all want to get started on that. We have about 10 minutes left of class, and so I figured we could do this for a couple minutes. Okay, so Gabriel, you're at 4.5. You're at negative 4. You're like spinning. Where are you at?
I'm right here.
There you go. Good. Sit down, Zayd. Okay, Gabriel, go to 1/2. Nope. Go to 1/2. There you go. Jordan, go to the opposite. Good. What? No, not good. He's on 1/2.
Oh, 1/2.
No.
Put him on 0. There you go.
Good.
Put
1.
him on 0.
Gabriel, sit down.
Put him on 0. Oh, you said sit down?
Gabriel, sit down in your seat.
Okay. Put
Okay.
him on 0.
Jordan, go to 3.
You stepped.
Go, Thomas, go to the opposite.
Mr. Bewley, we send Jackson King to the office for a moment.
Yes, ma'am. Wait, no, we don't have him. Sorry. He's not here.
He's not in there?
We have our first period class.
Oh, first? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, listen. So, are you on the opposite? Okay, good. So, Jordan, sit down. Thomas, go to 0. Caitlin, go to the opposite.
Katie, go.
Just get on his back.
Don't do that. So just stick your foot. There you go. Okay, Thomas, have a seat. Caitlin, go to negative 5.
Get Casey.
Casey, go to the opposite.
Oh, I want to go now.
Okay, good. Caitlin, have a seat. Casey, go to.
Put Colin Casey on 0.
Yeah, I want to go on 0.
Let's make this a little bit harder. Go to 2 2/3.
I can do it.
Good. Jacob, go to the opposite.
Jacob went. What? Jacob already went 3 times.
Wait, Jacob, you have already gone.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you
Jacob, have a seat.
Why are you always right?
Rio, go to the opposite of 2 2/3.
Wait, Rio, am I gonna have to hold your seat?
Good.
At 0?
Good. Casey, have a seat. Who has not gone? Riley, Rio, go to 4 and 2/4.
I didn't get to stay.
Okay, Riley, go to the opposite.
I have no memory. You went last time. I did.
Then you have a work
Where's
number
0?
0 is in front between 1 and -1. That's 0. So 4 and 2/3.
Way
Or no, it's 4 and 2/4.
Four, there.
So put your foot where 2/4 is.
I'm there.
There you go. Good. Rio, have a seat. Riley, go to 1 and 1/3. Okay. I'm gonna believe Jacob. So Jacob, go to the opposite.
Miss Bewley, Jack hasn't gone.
What about me? What number is it?
He's on 1 and 1/3. Good. So he's gone. So Riley, have a seat. Jacob, go to 4.
Jack hasn't gone.
Jack, go to the opposite.
You're welcome.
Good. Sit down.
Yay, Jack.
At your seat. Go to 0.
Don't step. You stepped on.
Who else hasn't gone?
Me.
Trey, go to the opposite.
Where do I need to stand?
At the opposite of 0.
Where's it?
Just take.
Dude, you gotta stand on the ground and
Zero is real. You stand on my feet. I don't stand on your shoes.
There you go. Jack, sit down.
y'all should kiss.
I mean.
Okay. Hey, class.
Give it to me.
So, has everyone gone now? Portland, sorry. Okay, Trey, go to, let's think of something. Go to 1 and 4/4. That's negative.
Me and Trey go to 0.
1 and 4/4. Good.
Me and Trey go to
Portland, go to the opposite. Good. Have a seat, Trey. I think it's just right there.
Casey's rich in soil.
Okay, who else hasn't gone? Gabriel. Okay, so Cortland, go to 1 and 6/3.
Katie wants to go. Katie wants to go.
Casey's rich in soil.
What?
What does that mean?
Hey, class.
What was it again?
See, he couldn't even hear me. You're going to 1 and 6/3.
So that's
So 1 and 6/3 is the same as 3. Because you have 1 and then 6/3 is 2, so it's 3. So Caitlin, go the opposite.
Caitlin. Yeah, Caitlin. Katie. Whitney. Katie.
Whitney.
Not exactly. He's at 3. Where should you be? He's at 3. So where should you be? There you go. Well, I did because you have 1 and then 6/3 is 2, which makes 3. Good job. Portland, have a seat. Anyone else that hasn't gone that wants to go?
Can I go again?
You want to go? Okay. I think this will be our last time. So, Caitlin, go to 2.
Yeah.
Taylor, go to the opposite. Good job. So, do y'all think you're ready for this test?
Yeah.
Awesome. Get your things together. Don't forget your homework from practice.